Hi, my name is Miriam Yu Shalmi, and the topic for discussion today is bonding with yourself. And why is it so necessary? Hopefully, giving you full permission to love yourself. Many are taken aback when asked, do you love yourself? A first response by many, it's like, how can I when I keep failing to be the person I want to be? Or, how can I when I don't feel that everyone around me loves me? In fact, my whole childhood, I got the message that I wasn't going to be able to be anybody worthy of love. Today, we will look at some ideas. We will gather some tools to help us accomplish this most important goal. We're going to increase our determination, and we're going to really try very hard to get to that quiet, peaceful place within ourselves where there are no bounds, where we can really feel more secure about who we are, so that we can have more self-worth and self-love. What we really want to do is take the time now to bond with ourselves. You know, many times people get very easily triggered by the other, and the response ends up being short of the standard one wishes for oneself. And then all of a sudden, the vicious cycle of guilt and negativity and sadness starts to prevail. We need holy tactics to protect ourselves. Let me give you a little story. There's an artist, and she's amazing. She has golden hands, and here's this person watching her, and she's like wowed and keeps praising her for her creation. Basically, when we take time to really look at what's so beautiful about us, when we take time to really connect with the inner essence of who we really are, it's like we're standing in front of Hashem and we're saying, wow, look at your creation. We're literally giving praise to God. Now, the first thing that we have to realize is that God made us perfectly imperfect. Our whole mission on this earth is to fix and to make better, to be a co-creator with God in becoming a better self. Many clients that come my way, I explain to them, do you know what the first mitzvah after Matan Torah was? It was a commandment to sacrifice the Korban Shleimi. And what was God saying? Look, you had a most elated experience of spirituality. You actually left your body. Now you're going to come back. You're going to go back to the mundane world, and you're not a perfect tzaddik. So sacrifice this idea of being whole, complete, and perfect. The word for shalem is the same word for peace, shalom. Be at peace with the fact that God didn't create you perfect. In fact, angels are perfect, and that's why you're not created as an angel. Angels don't have free choice. So the first tool that one needs is to every day, and if you're in your prayer book looking at that section of the sacrifices, there it is. Take the first step and get rid of that notion of perfection. We know that some people can't even see anything good in themselves. We have this commandment not to judge other people unfavorably. How about ourselves? How can we try to wage this war to not let this evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara that comes bombarding with us, and trying to trick us into feeling lowly and not worthy of self-love? We know that God forgives us. How many times every day when we say the bracha in the siddur that God forgives? Every day God forgives us. How can we be more strict than God? If He forgives, we need to take the effort and forgive ourselves. We wouldn't be able to say Hashem's name in vain. And so we really do know that He does forgive. Can we take the moment and forgive ourselves? So when we take the time to respect ourselves and appreciate ourselves being a creation of God, we're really giving respect to Hashem. This is our whole mission. This is our whole reason for being, to be able to live a life of fixing and making ourselves a better creation by our own efforts. We have to try to get rid of this idea of all or nothing. You know, like if I didn't do this right and if I can't do that, then forget it. I can't really accept myself. You know, when you're really at peace with the fact that you are not meant to be a perfect creation, then that is half the cure. When you can really accept yourself with the way God created the world, then you have more energy to then really start investing in doing the things that you can do to make yourself that better person. And really, who's the person that's going to live longest with you? You. Like, you imagine if you had a best friend, you wouldn't constantly bombard them with everything that went wrong with them. You are your best friend. Be kind to yourself. Try your best to enjoy your own company. Don't allow this evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, to take you on guilt trips. Instead, take a trip to Shir. Take a trip to a nice walk in the park. And think about all the moments that you have had the opportunity to do acts of kindness. Think about the good things that you have done. A moment where you did smile through a very challenging moment. Take stock of the victory moments that you have. Really catch yourself doing good. And don't underestimate the power of those little good deeds. The fact that you fought your Yetzer Hara and you were able to do a mitzvah has such an impact in the whole world. Definitely, another tip would be don't carry with you mega, binoculars, zooming in on all that isn't right. And if you happen to leave the home with those binoculars and you see a tendency of yourself, like being too harsh on yourself, and you happen to, like, nitpick at yourself, realize whatever it is that you're focused on that hasn't been, that perfect person, that weak point in you is actually the most powerful positive quality about you. Believe it or not. For instance, someone who has a very fiery temperament, prone to anger, that is where the person's greatness lies. Because it's that same fiery temperament that can reach a level of such passion in their service of Hashem, or such a passion and an ability to really love another. It's very important to understand that we got to take the measures to protect ourselves so that we don't allow all the things that are going around us to bring us to that point of despair, God forbid. An example I like to give, imagine an artist really worked 20 years on a masterpiece, watercolor, gorgeous watercolors. And by chance, they got an invitation to show the beauty of their work at the Metropolitan Museum. And it happens to be a very rainy day. What would the person do? Would they go out with their masterpiece in the rain? No, they would protect it, layer after layer, and finally, when it's really protected, it's able to go out to its destination. We are a masterpiece. Yes, we're day by day, little color here, a little added virtue there. And daily, we're bringing it out to the world. We need to protect ourselves. And the way to do that is to really connect to the beauty of you being a creation of God. The more you learn about how to bond with yourself, the more you get instruction from the Torah of how to love yourself. That is your protection. We have to be careful not to alienate ourselves from ourselves, especially if we feel like society around us is not paying attention to us, not making us feel worthy. You are worthy. You've been created. Dayenu. That alone. On top of that, all the mitzvahs you do. On top of that, realizing that some souls wait 800 years to be chosen, to be born. So we have to really make room for the good, because there's really not any kind of justification for such feelings, God forbid, like as if one is not a necessary ingredient to God's plan in perfecting the world. Imagine, you would not even believe how many people who are very, very accomplished, well-known, even famous, and how they have struggled with low self-esteem. I remember listening to Dr. Tversky in a video. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but what I saw was, wow. He was mentioning how, his whole life he had realized he'd been battling with this low self-esteem. After he'd written 50 books, after he was the head personnel in all his clinics and the success, and he was trying to think, why? I had an amazing childhood. I was pampered and daunted and loved, and I got attention from school, master chess player, highest of grades, and yet this realization that even he could be struggling with this low self-esteem. So it's not about what you accomplish. It's not about even what you did or didn't get. It's simply called the Yetzer Hara that really wants to challenge you so that it could steer you away from loving yourself, so that you can feel, God forbid, then so heavy-hearted that you want to give up and not put the effort into trying to even be that amazing you. There's a story of the 7 fat cows, right? Were eaten up by the 7 skinny cows, and the 7 skinny cows stayed skinny even after eating the fat cows. Pharaoh's dream. The deep meaning of this story is that you have been in a place where you'll have done a lot in your life, and yet all the good gets swallowed up, and you still feel like a loser. You still feel like unworthy of love. You still feel a lack of an ability to really love yourself and be one with who you are. And everything that you're trying to do gets swallowed up by this Yetzer Hara trying to defeat you. We need to protect ourselves. We need not let this other entity sabotage our efforts in leading a healthy, productive life, starting with loving yourself. Please, God, may we all be free to really bond with ourselves and be free to be me. I bless you that you just take this one message as you're on your journey of really being in that place of being able to be in your own skin and enjoy your company. When the Jewish people were commanded to conquer the land of Israel, God could have made a huge miracle, and in a blink of an eye, the Jews could have had the whole land for themselves. But it wasn't that way. It was step by step, territory by territory. And the reason why it was done this way was to teach the generations to come a very important lesson. When you're going to be on your journey in conquering yourself, you need to realize it's going to be a step-by-step process. Let's be patient with ourselves, and let's start taking those steps with joy, with strength, with determination. We'll get there. We're getting there. And many blessings to you.